And a big good evening, folks, and welcome back to RTA Virtual Motorsport. We are here tonight for round number 7 at Virginia International Raceway. And it's bound to be an exciting one once again tonight, just like we had in the previous races, especially last week at Mid-Ohio, where Oscar Mangan was able to take first and second in a really fabulous performance indeed. You can see the standings coming up on your screen now, folks. We have the B Series up first. So Stuart Brereton extending his lead in that championship ahead of Gary Corcoran in second. Decent week last week for Gary. Rich Murphy then in third. Grace McCallion in fourth, ahead of Aaron Dalton in fifth position. And then in terms of the main standings, it is a championship lead extended for Oscar Mangan, who very impressively was able to take 2 wins. First and second, we can run you through them while you see the B standings up on your screen, folks. It is Oscar Mangan who is at the top of that with 465 points. Dylan McClements in second on 384. Sean McGoldrick in third on 376. And then it is Ronan Doherty in fourth on 364. Sean McClements in fifth, 338. Jordan Kelly in sixth on 337. Then Elvin Walsh on 303. Then it is Rory O'Shea in 8th, 224. Kevin Joyce in 9th on 214. And Peter McCann in 10th on 210. A very interesting week last week in Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Of course, Oscar Mangan won heat number 1 and heat number 2, but it was Ronan Doherty who came on the reverse grid, decided he was going to just blitz through the field and take the win in heat number 3. With Oscar Mangan second, of course, and Sean McClements in third. That then makes it 8 podiums in 9 races for Ronan and for Oscar, which is unbelievable indeed. And it is bound to be extended, I would say, tonight, for Ronan Doherty at least. Doesn't look like Oscar Mangan is actually going to make the field, but Ronan Doherty is quickest in qualifying. In practice, I should say. 0.3 of a second ahead of Sean McGoldrick around this Virginia International Raceway circuit, which I believe this is our 3rd consecutive season that we are actually visiting Virginia. 5.262 kilometers, 3.270 miles, 17 corners. That record is 136, but that's of course in an LMP1, slightly different car. We will have much slower times tonight. 145, high 45s if your name is Ronan Doherty, and then low 146s. Throughout the rest of the field. But this circuit, located in Alton, Virginia, Danville, is less than a half mile from the North Carolina, Virginia border, and it is a lovely part of the United States of Americas, and it is a lovely part to go racing. VIR's first race was a Sports Car Club of America's race that attracted stars like Carroll Shelby back in the day. If you don't know who Carroll Shelby is, there's a whole 3-hour movie about him you can check out. But after we have Virginia International Raceway tonight, we have one more round in Laguna Seca, and then we are done for the Motorsport.ie Mustang America's Cup. So this is a very important evening indeed in terms of both championships. So the drivers will be looking for a fabulous result tonight. A big thanks to Motorsport.ie, of course, who are sponsoring the Mustang America's Cup. If you don't know what Motorsport.ie is, make sure you do go check it out. Number 1 for all Irish motorsport news, and there's plenty of articles and stuff for you to read, because it was a big week for Irish motorsports. Make sure you do go and check that out. We're coming up to the final 30 seconds of practice, and there's one man who is up the order in unusual fashion. Ian May in 4th in qualifying, as well as a couple of other drivers throughout the field. Evan Walsh there in 8th, Jamal Gandor in 7th, Colin Carrigan in 9th. Colin Carrigan, a good week for him last week in Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. He got his first top 10 of the season in heat number 2. So Colin doing a mighty fine job indeed. And Jamal Gandor as well was very solid last week, but was involved in a couple of incidents. And that kind of sent him down the order. We got a 7th place in heat number 1, although it did end a top 10 streak for Jamal. So unfortunately, he will we'll have to start that streak again. And even a supposed earthquake didn't end that streak for Jamal, but one battle with Evan Walsh, and he was sent down the field. We'll be getting into qualifying now shortly, folks. You can see a beautiful sunny day here, 25 degrees weather, only a 4-kilometre wind, and no rain on the horizon. So Ronan Doherty will probably be raging because he likes a little bit of rain, doesn't he? And wants also to take a hat-trick this season. He mentioned in an interview with us last week, the closest he got was in Road America, of course, but he was pipped by his cousin Sean McClements to the win in heat number 3. Speaking of the McClements, there is Dylan on track now, and he had a very unfortunate end in mid-Ohio. He had a computer issue which saw him out of heat number 3. He unfortunately wasn't able to make up a points difference on Oscar Mangum, but still in decent championship contention is Dylan. He's looking to build on some good pace, and you can see just on an out lap now, getting the tires all nice and warmed up. Qualifying is not necessarily Dylan McClements' best attribute. Certainly is up there with the rest of the front runners, but it's always in the races where Dylan likes to make a difference. If he gets in front, in very similar fashion to a man who's also not here tonight, Jordan Kelly, if he gets in front, he can usually lead from the front. So that is what Dylan will be looking to do tonight. He's heading in towards the Oak Tree corner now. We'll do a track run through when these guys get up to full speed, because this is a very unusual circuit, I suppose. As Kevin Galvin is not here with us tonight, he loves this circuit because of its quirkiness and its uniqueness, and he was looking forward to this one. But Dylan McClements, we will stick on board with him maybe for a qualifying lap, because he's usually right up there in terms of the qualifying order, himself and Ronan Doherty. We imagine they will be lost 9. So running for the final couple of corners comes Dylan McClements. And you can see him rounding up towards turn number 1. And this is the front stretch, the first of over 17 corners. And down towards turn number 1. Heavy braking zone, this one. You've got to look for your braking board on the left-hand side and get down the gears immediately. This is the horseshoe of turn number 1. Then it's in towards turn number 2 and down towards the NASCAR bend of turn number 3. Very tricky corner, this one. But can provide some good overtaking, as can the left hook of turn number 4. We saw a brilliant move from Lawrence de Salzwa a couple of seasons back in the GT4 Cup through this very corner. Then through 5A and in towards the snake of 6 and 6A, and accelerating down towards the S's. You've got to try to keep this section of the track as flat as possible. The more you lift, the more you brake, the slower your lap time will be. This is a very crucial sector of the circuit, through 7, then through 8, in towards turn 9, and then up towards turn number 10. The south bend, this is the one we have to slow the car right down. You can see Dylan McClements using all the grass on the right hand side. Then it's turn number 11 and 12 of Oak Tree, the Oak Tree section. Very crucial to get your straight line speed and to get your traction out of this corner for a crucial long straight down Madison Avenue and the back straight. Longest part of this circuit, this back straight. Some variations have a little bit of a chicane, but this one does not. Down towards the roller coaster section, 14 and 14A, braking for this right-hander. Dylan was involved in an incident at this corner the last time we visited this track. On his last lap in heat number 3, he was fabulous around here in the Super Formula Lights, almost taking all 3 wins on that night, but that incident did end up costing him. Through the hog pen of 17 and 17A onto the front stretch. That's a lap of Virginia International Raceway with Dylan McClements. Let's see where he goes on the order. It is going to be once it clicks across, I think he's actually picked up a 1X, so it won't be an improvement there for Dylan McClements. Ronan Doherty will find time though. And 1:45.8 is the time to beat. Sean McGoldrick in second, 7/10 of a second off. Evan Walsh goes third. Kevin Joyce in fourth. Colin Carrigan in 5th position. So decent lap there from Colin to get up the order. As it definitely looked like some form of invalidation for Dylan McClements, because he was a lot quicker than what he said. There goes Stuart Brereton to 6th. There's a problem there for one of the VRA racing cars. Someone has just jumped back into the pit lane. Dare I say that was Philip Upson potentially? Could have been Philip, but he has come back into the pit lane. This is Stuart Brereton, leader of the B Series, and I think we have permission now to announce that Stuart Brereton also a gold medalist in skiing. So, you can ask Stuart more about that if you want to. I won't say any more, but Stuart is a man of many talents, and if I remember correctly, he was quite good at Virginia International Raceway the last time we visited here. We could have decent pace here tonight. He is back and leading the B Series. Sean McGoldrick runs wide, heading through one of the corners. That is turn number 12 of the Oak Tree, but heads back to the pit lane for a quick service and back out on circuit. Ronan Doherty, the leader here tonight, and what an opportunity this is, because no Oscar Mangan, well, at least for now, he could well join during qualifying. No Jordan Kelly, the two who he's been fighting with throughout the season. What a big opportunity this is for potentially a hat-trick, potentially a clean sweep, and potentially some huge championship points, because his two rivals tonight, I would say, is both the Seans, McGoldrick and McClements, and Dylan McClements. And Ronan probably feels he has the number on all those, but we know how Dylan McClements can spring a surprise when he wants to. He jumps the second in qualifying. Here's Sean McClements. No proper lap yet from Sean. Last week, he was able to pick up another podium in Mid-Ohio, a very hard-working result. And Sean, irregardless of results tonight, is going to still be on cloud 9 because he's a big Oasis fan. So, you know, he's won, realistically, tonight, even if Ronan Doherty takes the wins in the 3 heats. Here's Ian May, who's tracking very well in qualifying. Currently in 7th is Ian, and we've not seen him this far up for the whole season. Ian May, currently 22nd in the Motorsport.ie Mustang America's Cup, with 87 points, no penalty points, so he's been squeaky clean as far as that respect, but he's going to go off and hit the wall here in qualifying. And from a steward's perspective, he's been squeaky clean. This lap, unfortunately not, and he's just rubbed the tyre barrier there. We'll have to head back into the pit lane and go for a quick service. John McDonald as well, another man who's impressed us at times this season. He successfully gets through turn number 6A and down towards the S's, a little bit more successful than Ian May was. Still no lap times on the board from Philip Upson, Tony Stack, Rich Murphy, Lawrence de Soswa, Byron DeBalio and Simran Tacker, although Lawrence we're not expecting to qualify because he has started to do his last of first challenges here in RTA, and he's done them so far all season. And admittedly, it makes for fantastic viewing because Lawrence actually has done quite well. And for Lawrence's stream, the Potato Nation, we will obviously be looking to provide some entertainment for the viewers. And some big news for Lawrence in recent weeks. His Potato Nation sim racing community will have a stand at the ADAC Sim Racing Expo. So big news for Lawrence. There'll be plenty of giveaways there in Dortmund. So make sure you head over to Lawrence's stand if you are heading over to the Sim Racing Expo. And we ride on board with him, heading up through the S's. It's been a decent season for Lawrence, although admittedly he is more having a good time rather than going for strong results, but he still has got them strong results, so it's a win-win for LD. And towards the Oak Tree corner, you can see just how much you got to slow it down for the second part of that corner than you do the first. And the first part of the Oak Tree, so that you can flick the car in, but the second one, you got to square off the corner and make sure you get a good exit, because it is an over 1 kilometre back straight. 5.2 kilometres as a whole this circuit, 3.2 miles in Old Runny. But you got to make sure you get a good exit onto this. Let's have a look here. What's Lawrence going to do? Slows it right down for the roller coaster section. Doesn't try and almost straight line that corner. Takes it as it was meant to be, as it was built back in August 3rd, 1957. That's how they intended for the corners to be taken. But some of our drivers like to get a little bit creative with the track limits. Pulls right over to the right-hand side. A little bit too close to the right-hand side for Lawrence de Sosma. But he'll set a lap nonetheless. And actually, that could be his tactics to invalidate his laps. Because obviously he doesn't want to set a qualifying lap. That would have put him well up the order. Sean McGoldrick improves to third, so decent lap there for Sean McGoldrick, who despite having an absolute diabolical week in Mid-Ohio, he still remains third in the standings and only 8 points behind Dylan McClements. So Sean still has a foot in the fight here in this championship standings. Sean McGoldrick, who you can see just parks up on the grass, has had one win in the Super Formula Lights Championship, had no wins in the GT4 Cup, but he did finish 5th in the standings in the Super Formula Lights with 379 points, so he's a man known for his consistency. Dylan McClements purple in the second final sector, but orange in the rest of the lap, so that won't be an improvement for young Dylan McClements. Here's Jamal Gandor heading in towards the first sector, the Lebanese racer, also a streamer, just while we're mentioning streamers, is slightly more chaotic than LD's, but you can check out Jamal as well. One of Lebanon's finest sim racing exports is Jamal, a sim builder for many years. He started sim racing in 1996 and he founded Simsa in 2016, 20 years later. That is 20 years later. Yes, it is 20 years later. He founded Simsa, won podium in the GT4 Cup in Sebring, the single-seater, the Super Formula Lights Championship. Not really his forte. He much prefers the GT machines, as Ronan Doherty improves even more. He is currently quickest of the bunch in qualifying by a nice comfortable margin, 0.290 over Dylan McClemens in second. He will. I think Ronan will be feeling very hard done by tonight if he can't get a maximum point result here, because it seems like he has a large pace advantage over the rest of the field. But that could also be my famous last words. So we'll have to wait and see. Ronan might be absolutely raging come the end of tonight, because he'll rewatch the stream and probably blame me for his incidents, like his cousin Sean McClemens has time and time again. But we will await and find out. 4 minutes to go in qualifying. Jamal Gandor improves to 7th. Kerryman Tony Stack circling round in towards the NASCAR bend and turn number 4. He's looking for a strong result tonight, is Tony. He's not been maybe as prominent in the top 10 as he has in the rest of the RTA Championships covered here on Gantry TV, but he would like a strong result here tonight at Virginia International Raceway. Currently 15th in qualifying. I think I've said it for a couple of drivers tonight, but qualifying is not Tony's forte. He's a man that will emerge at the top of the races. And remember, 3 races on display. If it's your first time watching RTA Virtual Motorsport, we have a 10-minute heat number 1. Then we have a 15-minute heat number 2, and then for heat number 3, it's 20 minutes. But the top 8 from heat number 2 will be reversed in the race order. So whoever finishes 8 in heat number 2, they'll start on the pole for heat number 3. So always reason to keep going, even if you get spun round from the front. And heat 3 at tracks like this can usually spring an upset, because overtaking is possible, but not necessarily ideal. Couple of good opportunities. Like this corner you see Tony Stack heading through. Like this corner you see Dylan McClemens heading through, as he's just in front of Tony Stack actually out on the circuit. So rounding for the final corner now. Is there going to be any improvement here for Dylan McClemens as he comes up across the start-finish line? Not using any out, so there won't be any improvement for Dylan McClemens for the time being. But still Ronan's already top of the order with very little to go in this qualifying session. Sean McGoldrick in 3rd, Sean McClemens in 4th, Evan Walsh in 5th, Ian Maven in 6th, Jamal Gandor in 7th, Kevin Joyce in 8th, Colin Carrigan in 9th, David Prunty in 10th, John McDonald in 11th, Gary Corcoran in 12th, Philip Upson in 13th, Stuart Brereton in 14th, then Tony Stack 15th ahead of LD and Byron DeBalio, I should say. Rich Murphy then and Simran Tacker not setting lap times just yet. As you can see, Simran heading towards the S. It would be good to just even get a lap on the board, because if you haven't really started your lap by now, the likelihood of you getting one in is very, very slim. So Simran could do with performing on this lap time. Ronan Doherty parks it up in the garage. He's confident with his lap time. He's confident that that's not going to be beaten any time tonight. John McDonald is able to improve into the top 10, gets ahead of David Prunty in the 52, former B champion. David Prunty has been beaten by John. We're still looking here with Simran Tacker down towards the roller coaster section. Qualifying a little bit underwhelming compared to what Mid-Ohio was. I think you'd agree at home, folks. Mid-Ohio, we had a shootout right until the death between Mangan, both McClemens, Doherty and Kelly. Ronan Doherty's been leaps and bounds ahead of the rest of the field tonight. Here is Simran Tacker braking for the roller coaster section. Dylan McClemens has gone purple in the 2nd sector, but again, not finding any time in any of the other sectors. So that could be Dylan's downfall here. He's able to do it across one lap, but just not able to do it across the rest. Here is Simran towards the start-finish line. It is saying he's on an out lap, but hopefully for his sake, he isn't, and this is an actual classified time. Dylan McClemens is able to improve to a 46.0 just in front. So Dylan has found a little bit more time there as Simran. A valid lap on the board, at least, for Simran Tacker. But with 35 seconds to go, the top 6 are all in the pit lane. Jamal Gandor, the highest runner still out in the circuit, and I don't think he's actually going to be able to finish his lap. No, he isn't. As someone goes spinning off in the background. Not awfully sure who that was, but someone has gone off. Here's Kevin Joyce and John McDonald just circling around. John actually finding time in the 2nd sector, but again, just like Dylan McClemens, not finding any time in the rest of the lap. So not looking like he's not even going to make the line for a start, so won't be improving upon this, and that will be qualifying here for the Motorsport.ie Mustang America's Cup. Ronan Doherty dominant in this session, and the number 29 will start on pole position. We'll have the full results coming up in a split second, folks. As Doherty taking another pole position this season, not his first. He got a pole in Road America and also took pole in Willow Springs. And you can see here is your grid for the opening heat. It will be Doherty and McClements alongside each other on the front row, and then it'll be McGoldrick and McClements in third and fourth. Evan Walsh then in fifth with Ian May in sixth. Jamal Gandor in seventh, ahead of Kevin Joyce in eighth. Colin Carrigan then in ninth. John McDonald in 10th. David Prunty then starts 11th, ahead of Gary Corcoran in 12th. Good qualifying that by both David and Gary. We're looking for a strong result potentially tonight. It'll be Philip Upson who starts in 13th, and then it will be Stuart Burton, B-Series leader, who starts in 14th. 15th is Tony Stack, 16th Lawrence de Soswa, so Lawrence cannot claim that he's doing a last to first. He's doing a 16th to first here tonight. Byron DeBalio then in 17th, ahead of Simran Tacker in 18th. Rich Murphy then starts at the back of the grid in 19th position. So that is an interesting grid indeed. I do hope for both the championship and the sake of entertainment that Dylan McClemens is able to keep up with Ronan Doherty at the front of the grid, as they're just all getting ready in pit lane, getting ready to go for the full formation lap here. Last week, of course, if you missed it in mid-Ohio, Ronan Doherty was able to take a win, but the other two wins came from a man who is not here tonight, Oscar Mangan, championship leader. So this will be his drop round. Remember, Ronan, I think, has a drop round today, and Jordan will have a no-score round as well as a drop round, because that's him pretty much out of championship contention. Both the McClemens brothers, I think, have raced every week, so their drop round will be a loss of points. The drop rounds will all be calculated next week, and we'll have that for the final round of the season, Laguna Seca. As we see them all coming out on track now, getting ready for the long formation lap here at Virginia International Raceway. If you are just joining us, folks, you didn't miss much entertainment in qualifying. You can see the grid on the left-hand side of your screen. The entertainment is all to come tonight. Let us know at home who you're rooting for in this one, who you think is performing well, and let us know your general thoughts on the race. We'll try and read out as many comments as we can while I have access to them, that is. And at the end of the stream, of course, let us know who you consider for driver of the day. If you're a regular Gantry TV viewer, you'll know how much of a debate it usually causes. And I don't have Kevin or Kieran to annoy this week with the debate, so that'll be your job in the stream chat. Let us know what you're thinking, and as always, make sure to subscribe to Gantry TV. Make sure to check out RTA Virtual Motorsport, as well as our fabulous sponsor, Motorsport.ie, here on Ireland's premier sim racing series. If you want to race in it, RTA Virtual Motorsport.com. After we conclude our Motorsport.ie Mustang America's Cup action, we have our fabulous endurance series, which I believe entries could be open. Rob, if he is watching, will probably probably clarify that, but you cannot find out all information on RTA Virtual Motorsports.com. It's a fabulous website up there, so all the information available at the click of your mouse. This circuit, which is a fan favourite, I think, with a lot of the drivers. I know Peter McCann is a man who really enjoys this circuit, so disappointing that he's not here tonight. But Carol Shelby, who we mentioned earlier, once said that one lap at this race, or this racetrack, is like 100 at Watkins Glen. So difficult is one word to describe it, but exciting, I think, would be another, and that's hopefully what we're in for here tonight. First heat, 10 minutes, second heat, 15, and then the third heat, a reverse top 8 20-minute heat. Last time we were at Virginia International Raceway, with plenty of incident into this corner. We might get that again tonight, but Ronan Doherty will be looking to run away at the front. I think what Dylan McClemens has to do if he wants to challenge Ronan tonight, is try overtake him as early as possible. That is almost needed, almost necessary, if he wants to try and beat the Formula Ford champion and the potential Motorsport.ie Mustang America's Cup champion. Ronan Doherty, even though he is the Formula 4 champion, had a brilliant season in the Super Formula Lights as well, took 7 wins and that hat-trick as Imola, as well as 15 podiums, including those wins. So very important for Dylan here to try and get in front of Ronan if he wants to have a championship endeavour. As they come towards the line, we go racing here in Virginia, and Ronan Doherty is up and away in towards the first corner. Dylan McClements under a huge amount of pressure from Sean McGoldrick here in the battle for second, and in the battle for third, Evan Walsh looking to get involved as well. Braking for the first corner, big lunge by Walsh, just like we saw at the Mid-Ohio Sports Course where he took 3 positions in towards the first corner there. A little bit further down the field, Tony Stack is able to get the spot on Stuart Brereton. Sean McClements is just in front of Evan Walsh in that battle for fourth, so McClements doing a great job indeed just to keep behind his brother. But brilliant race start by Sean McGoldrick, the man, a resident of Oxford, using his intelligence and quick wit to overtake Dylan McClements and down, or up to second place I should say. But Ronan Doherty, a second away. Very good start there for him, and as we said many a time, big opportunity for him tonight. He's taking it in his grasp. Sean McClements there under pressure for fourth from Evan Walsh behind in fifth. Walsh looking to try and make some inroads on Sean McClements down towards the oak tree of turn number 11 and 12, and Sean McClements quite good around here, if I remember correctly, the last time round, but Evan Walsh has been a man on form so far this season. We mentioned Jamal's top 10 run. Evan Walsh had a similar top 10 run, and that is ongoing. So he's currently 7 top 10 finishes in a row, and I'm sure he will he'll be disappointed if he isn't able to continue that on tonight. But Dylan McClements not able to catch Sean McGoldrick in a straight line. Sean McGoldrick doing a good job to keep almost within that 1 second window of Ronan Doherty, but Doherty very quick for the roller coaster section of 14 and 14A, and down towards the hog pen of turn number 17. We'll start the second lap of proceedings here at Virginia International Raceway. Some of your movers and shakers from the field, there's not a lot of them, but Tony Stack made a position, as did Simran Thacker, and then of course as did Sean McGoldrick. So not an awful lot of positional change, but some crucial one at that. As the field very early, very spaced out, very early on. Here for an RTA Virtual Motorsport race. Hopefully they bunch up together a little bit in the remaining 8 minutes of this one. Should be about 5-6 laps in this first heat, and then a lot more coming up later tonight. So don't go anywhere, folks. That is without question, as Evan Walsh is looking to go somewhere, but that is up the field, crucially enough for him. There's some problems for Ian May. He's gone falling down the order. We saw Jamal Gandol get past him. He's now down to 11th, down to 12th. So Ian May has gone off the road and is been hit by a barrage of overtakes. And there's a problem. That is Philip Upson, who was almost spun round in front with Tony Stack, and Stack is able to get in front, and there goes Upson off the road. Philip Upson has made that mistake. He is down and now falling down the order. Ian May looking to rejuvenate himself in this one and get back past Lawrence de Soswell, but problems early on for Murphy, for Upson, and for Ian May. We said it's a very difficult track to start this, proving that once again, and there is someone off track behind, so very difficult for these guys indeed, as 3 minutes and 15 on the clock. We're after seeing the mistake there for Ian May and for Philip Upson. Upson almost looks sideways at the front of Tony Stack, as we will cut to a Gantry TV instant replay of that one. Let's have a look then. So Rich Murphy involved in this one as well. That is Simran Thacker and Lawrence de Soswell, it seems. Oh, that is a difficult one. That is Rich Murphy, it seems, having that problem and just ran wide through the roller coaster corner. No one else can be blamed, unfortunately, there for Rich Murphy. Here's Lawrence de Soswell. That's a big move in the background for LD. You know he likes to overtake at this circuit. Proved that a handful of seasons ago in the GT4 Cup with a stunning move around the outside through the NASCAR bend. But not able to get in front of Stuart Brereton now, and Brereton looking to put his newfound defensive prowess on display in front of LD. And you can see Lawrence Lawrence taking a bit of a different line than Stewart through the corner. Lawrence arguably taking the quicker one, but Stewart's got out of the corner a little bit better. Lawrence, I think, had to jab on the brakes a bit to avoid Stuart Brereton in front. Did not want to hit the Wicklow native. And Stewart will remain in front. There's Kevin Joyce getting past Evan Walsh. Weird position to overtake the VAR man, but Kevin Joyce has made the move stick nevertheless. And Kevin has made a mistake, and we are hearing Evan Walsh has gone off track. So let's have a look at the instant replay. Was a weird place to overtake him, but that's because Evan Walsh made a mistake. Let's have a look then and what happened here. So that's Walsh there you're looking at in the green, white and orange, just chasing down Sean McClements. This is in towards turn number 8, 9 and 10 of the South Bend section. I imagine it's the South Bend that he's gone off in. So picks up a bit of grass. Just picked up the grass there on the inside of the corner. And wow, goes for a little bit of an adventure in towards a divot. And in all honesty, that's quite impressive by Evan Walsh, who has kept that car under very nice control and will remain in 7th place. But that's another mistake for Evan Walsh. We saw him make a mistake in heat number 1 at Mid-Ohio, and that cost him a very strong result, potentially throughout the evening. Not as costly here at the Virginia International Raceway, but did go off the circuit nonetheless, and that will cost him a couple of points in the RTA Virtual Motorsport Championship. David Prunty, you can see there in the number 52, he's battling John McDonald in front. John running the Hello Gantry TV livery, as he always does, and you can kind of see it as he drives past. It's on the roof of the car, so you keep an eye out for David saying hello to you guys at home, but might be saying hello to, keep an eye for John saying hello. I was going to say, might be saying hello to David Prunty's rear spoiler in a couple of corners if David keeps up this hot pace down towards the South Bend section where we saw Evan Walsh made that mistake. The black and yellow livery very, very much evident in the rear wings of John McDonald down towards the oak tree. No move being able to be made there. The slipstream out of this corner might help him down towards the roller coaster. It's usually the biggest overtaking zone on the circuit is braking in towards this left-hander, usually where we see a lot of side-by-side action. And hopefully that can sort of arrive tonight, because we've not had much of it. Dylan McClements looking to pick up 2nd place here and overtake Sean McGoldrick. McGoldrick driven very well indeed. McGoldrick's best result last week was the 6th in heat number... it was a 4th in heat number 3. So he did pick up decent points, but in terms of his driving, I know he wouldn't have been overly happy with it. There's a little bit of a lock-up in towards the first corner, but nothing major for Sean McGoldrick. Dylan McClements putting Sean under a whirlload of pressure now, and with 2.5 minutes to go here in this heat number 1, Dylan fancy his chances a little bit. Ronan, although up the road, has not gone away up the road. Only 2.7 seconds the gap there, where in all honesty I thought Ronan would have been 4 or 5 by now, so that's promising for the second heat. John McDonald now looking to attack Colin Carrigan. So Colin Carrigan's been brought back into this fight. John McDonald, although under pressure, has absorbed it and put it back into action, and he is now looking to just pass on that pressure to Colin Carrigan in front. Colin, who picked up his first top 10 of the season last week in number 2 at Mid-Ohio, we're going to pick up a second one in 2 weeks here, and what a great result that would be for Colin Carrigan if he could do it. But there's work to do here because he's under pressure from John McDonald. Here comes David Prunty, potentially looking for the move into the oak tree. He's going to go for the outside. McDonald defends to the inside, and David Prunty just looking to flick it round here, and that's a little bit of a poor exit for John McDonald. Could be under a lot of pressure here from David Prunty, and Prunty will try and bring the overtaking action down the back straight and in towards the roller coaster corner. Here is David, just looking and getting close to the number 8 in front. He'd be brave if he went from this far back. He doesn't. He's going to let John brake much later and try force John McDonald into a mistake. Similar tactic we've seen Oscar Mangan plot in the past. But it's not going to work. John once again holds off, and John will stay in front for the time being. We will have one more lap to go here at Virginia International Raceway. Ronan Doherty will lead us home to the finish, 0.4 of a second quicker than Sean McGoldrick on that last lap. So now he's starting to turn on the pace. Here is Dylan McClements looking to try and overtake Sean McGoldrick in towards the NASCAR bend. Dylan will probably look to wait for the back part of the circuit. That's usually the higher percentage overtaking zone, but Dylan can make crucial moves when he needs to, putting Sean McGoldrick under a whole lot of pressure as they exit Snake and up towards the S's on board with Dylan. And that's Sean McGoldrick in front in the number 16. 20 seconds to go here in this heat. This will be the last lap. Dylan needs a crucial run out of the oak tree, but he's been setting this overtake up for quite some time. Brakes later in towards turn number 11. Looking for a little bit more minimum speed through the corner, and Sean McGoldrick has got a little bit wobbly on the exit of turn number 12, so this does invite Dylan McClements into a move, and this would be a brilliant move for Dylan if he's able to pull it off. Down towards the roller coaster he comes, though I'm not sure he'll be close enough. It's going to have to be very brave on the brakes for young Dylan McClements if he was to pull this one off. And is he going to go for it? No, Dylan just backs off, takes a smarter approach, does brake a lot later than Sean McGoldrick, so he might be looking to go for it in towards one of the final corners, but no, not able to do so. And I think Sean McGoldrick might be able to hold on unless Dylan has something else in his locker. And look at him flying over the curbs, giving him absolutely everything to the run towards the line. Ronan Doherty will win the heat, but who will come second and third? You can see Dylan McClements just pushing in a drag race towards the line. It'll be Sean McGoldrick second. He just gets in front, just got a good exit off the corner. Dylan McClements third ahead of his brother Sean, who comes home in fourth. Kevin Joyce, great result. 5th place for him. Evan Walsh in 6th after that mistake. Jamal Gandor will come home in 7th. Colin Carrigan will come home in 8th. John McDonald 9th. David Prunty 10th. And that is the top 10 from this one. Tony Stack just couldn't quite break into it, but we'll have the full confirmation of results in a moment. Ronan Doherty dominating heat number 1, however. So the order of that one then, Ronan Doherty able to take the win, and in second place, of course, Sean McGoldrick just fending off Dylan McClements at the end of that race. Sean McClements then coming home in 4th, first position off the podium. In 5th then it was Kevin Joyce. 3 positions gained for Kevin in a race where we didn't see a lot of overtaking, so that's a very nice result indeed. Evan Walsh 6th, Jamal Gandor 7th, Colin Carrigan 8th, John McDonald 9th, David Prunty in 10th, Tony Stack in 11th, ahead of Gary Corcoran and Lawrence Soswa. Stuart Brereton just behind Lawrence, but ahead of Ian May. Simon Tacker then in 16th, Byron DeValio in 17th, Rich Murphy in 18th, and then Philip Upson comes home in 19th spot. We've got the second heat coming up for you now, folks. This will be 15 minutes, as you can see on your screen, and the grid is set by race number 1. So the results we just read out is the exact same starting positions. And then, of course, we'll have the reverse grid race coming up later on. So let us know your thoughts so far on tonight's action. Hopefully a little bit more overtaking in heat number 2. But still, interesting and championship deciding. Ronan Doherty picking up a big points haul, as we said. No Oscar Mangan, no Jordan Kelly here tonight. And Ronan Doherty 4th in the standings, 364 points. He's exactly 101 behind Oscar Mangan. 90 on offer tonight for him, and remember both their drop rounds will be 0, so we can just take those points as they are pretty much. You take a clean sweep tonight, that would spice things right up for Laguna Seca next week. As just getting the tyres all warmed up and getting the cars ready to go. The Ford Mustang GT3 car on display here, of course, very new to iRacing. 5.4 litre naturally aspirated V8 and 516 brake horsepower this car has. So, look, it's not slow, we can tell you that for free. One thing these guys struggle a little bit is with understeer in this car, and that's due to the front engine. It's a front engine machine, but it is reliable over longer distances. So we might see a few of them running it in the RTA Endurance Series coming up in a couple of weeks' time. It can take the curbs well as well. So we saw Dylan McClements showing that off in the end of heat number 1. The curbs in the final sector you definitely got to take, because it's either the curb or the grass for the quickest run through the corner. And Dylan McClements decided he wanted the quicker run than going across the grass like he did at the end of last season, unfortunately. But should be an interesting heat, this one. Sean McGoldrick now alongside Ronan Doherty on the front row, so a new challenge. Sean very good off the start. Not quite Rory O'Shea Super Formula Lights series level off the start, but good off the start indeed. And Sean McGoldrick in that endurance series that we just mentioned is actually currently second in the standings with MSR Motorsport, a team alongside Tony Stack. So they're getting a bit of experience in as well. In terms of the endurance series, what track are they actually at next? They're at Mugello, so I'd like to say it's a similar track in ways, but the only thing probably similar about it is a long run down towards the first corner and quick corners, so not much practice being put in here tonight at Virginia International Raceway. Keep an eye for the McClements brothers in 3rd and 4th. They'll be looking to make a similar move to what Sean McDonald did at the start of the first heat. Keep an eye on Kevin Joyce as well in 5th. Good mix amongst the big names here in RTA. We kind of have a lot of similar names up the front from time to time in Heat 1 and Heat 2, but keep an eye on Kevin Joyce. He might be able to provide something and provide a bit of a shock. Was 7th in that Heat 3 last week, so good run of form for Kevin. We're looking to continue it. And coming into the 15, 16, 17 hog pen section of the circuit now, the Porsche safety car at the front of the grid will peel into the pit lane, and Ronan Doherty will control the pace until the green flag. He's a long run to defend down towards the first corner. Got a brilliant launch in heat number 1, so we'll be looking for something similar here in heat number 2. As you can really see the drop down towards the final section of the circuit, as now we go racing here at Virginia International Raceway once again. Another brilliant start from Ronan Doherty. He's called out Sean McGoldrick, but McGoldrick's got a decent getaway as well. Look at Evan Walsh, last of the late breakers, are watting towards the first corner, looking through the long way around the outside of Sean McClements, and I tell you what, he's just found that long way very successfully, as Evan Walsh quickly have the inside line for the NASCAR bend of turn number 3. Side by side between himself and McClements, and Walsh goes round. It's a spin for Evan Walsh here in the first sector, 0 to 0 in a matter of moments. That was a brilliant move from Evan Walsh initially, but made a mistake with Sean McClements very disappointingly, and we might have to have another look at that one for Walsh and see what happened. We will. Here we go. So Walsh trying it round the outside, soon to become the inside. That's Sean McClements on the outside, and did he just spin it on his own here, or was there a bit of door-to-door? Oh, there was a bit of door-to-door contact. The stewards might have a look at it. Ironically enough, I think Sean McClements is the chief steward for tonight, but obviously the rest of the stewards will have a look at that one. And yeah, I'm not sure if there will be a penalty in it for Sean. Could be a racing incident, but there was definitely a little bit of contact made. Could also be a little bit of net code potentially, but we will find out more about that later on. But a controversial start here to heat number 2 at Virginia International Raceway, as we have another look at it here. Let's see, is there contact or is it net code? Brilliant camera angle here for it. There's a nudge. There's definitely a nudge. There definitely is a nudge from Sean McClements. I'm not sure if Evan Walsh just drifted off the apex into Sean's line, or whether Sean could have crossed him. But we will we'll park that one there, and we'll let the stewards and yourselves in the stream chat have a discussion about that one. But it is Ronan Doherty who leads by 1 second once again. Very similar race start to heat number 1. Sean McGoldrick then in second. Dylan McClements in third, looking to pile the pressure on Sean McGoldrick and continue from where he left off. Here's Barry Corcoran looking for a move on Stuart Brereton. Stuart's got a great race start here. Stuart Brereton has gained 5 positions here so far in heat number 2. So traditionally known for being good in the rain, Stewart is excelling here in the very hot and sunny conditions at Virginia International Raceway. And he's looking to defend from Gary Corcoran and John McDonald. This is on board Gary Corcoran, looking back to John McDonald. The battle we saw briefly in the first heat, John looking to get back in front of Gary Corcoran, where he was in the earlier trips round this Virginia International Raceway circuit. He's going to go for it. He's going to go for it. Here is John McDonald. Just couldn't sneak it down the inside, as Kevin Joyce has overtaken Sean McClements in the battle for fourth. So Sean McClements now falling behind Kevin Joyce. I said Kevin Joyce could mix it amongst them, and he is doing so. I wonder, does Sean have any damage from that contact with Evan Walsh? As look at this train snaking down towards the roller coaster section. Lawrence de Soswa in the blue and blue, looking to make a move potentially. That's a huge launch from Gary Corcoran on Stuart Brereton, but wasn't able to get it done around the outside. Very difficult corner to go around the outside. You kind of want the inside line, if anything. And you can see Tony Stack as well in 12th position, just looking to keep Lawrence de Soswa at bay. But LD, we know, can cut through the field. He's had plenty of experience at it now here in RTA Virtual Motorsport, and he's looking to continue on his strong Mustang America's Cup form. Will it be the outside line or the inside for LD? He'll go for the outside in towards turn number 1, and he will break later than Kerryman, Tony Stack, 2 Kerryman, I should say, battling in this one. Lawrence de Soswa from Keeloke. He's looking to make a move into a corner where he had great success in the past in that GT4 Cup. I know I keep mentioning that overtake, but it was an overtake worth mentioning about 10 times in an hour. Lawrence certainly will agree with me anyways. But he's not able to get past Tony Stack. For the time being, they'll snake down towards the Oak Tree corner. As Gary Corcoran still putting Stuart Brereton under a huge amount of pressure, but John just pulled out of the line briefly, and that's actually cost him, because Tony Stack's a lot closer in towards this curve. No move, or is there a move here? Stack's got to try the outside. No, he'll just park back into line behind John McDonald and try get the switch back in towards the second apex of the double apex right-hander, and he has got a good run on John McDonald here. We'll utilise the slipstream, which is not an awful lot in these cars, but he'll try utilise it nonetheless down towards the roller coaster section. That is John McDonald, you can see in the all-black Mustang, and it's Tony Stack you can see in the green, down towards the chicane. Tony Stack is the outside line. That's not going to work in a month of Sundays. Or is it, says Tony Stack. Or is it, says Tony Stack. He still keeps it on the outside here. And we'll try flick it once again round the outside. No, couldn't pull it off. The odds were stacked against him, but Tony couldn't make the move, and John McDonald will stay in front for the time being. That's going to invite Lawrence de Soswa into this fight, and Lawrence de Soswa will be looking to potentially to go for both of them down towards the first corner. Boxed in a little bit here is Lawrence, and he'll try and still commit for the move. No, he won't. He'll have to back out. It's just boxed in there, and he would have ended up hitting someone off the road had he had gone for it. Tony Stack tries the up and under. LD has to lift off the loud pedal just so he doesn't run into the back of Tony. That's compromised his run down towards turn number 3, and he's now under pressure from Ian May. Evan Walsh looking to get involved in this one as well after his early spin. Evan now going to try dive down the inside of Ian May in towards the left hook. Couldn't do it, so Simran Thakur will now potentially attack him. What a fight we're having in the train for 9th here at Virginia International Raceway in the second heat. We look a little bit further on, and this is Sean McClements putting the pressure on Kevin Joyce here down towards the Oak Tree. We've not really looked at the front runners in this one, because thankfully the backpack are providing a great bit of action for you guys at home and for us here in the booth. But Sean McClements not looking like he's going to make the move for anyone. Here's Ian May looking for this one, as there is John McDonald and Tony Stack. Tony Stack has finally found an avenue of opportunity down the inside, and Tony Stack has made the move stick, but John will get a bit of a slipstream from Gary Corcoran in front, who is looking to attack Stuart Brereton, and look at them bumping and banging, and we can see on the helicopter camera here just how nip and tuck it well and truly is, and Tony Stack will have the inside line crucially this time round. John McDonald breaks later of the two though, and will there be a nudge between them? There is a little bit of nudging. door-to-door racing, still side-by-side on the exit. Now there's more contact between them. That nudge offsets John McDonald. It'll allow LD to go for the move. McDonald, oh, very shaky under the braking. Somehow still surviving, and somehow still in 12th place. I'm not awfully sure how John survived that one, but he has. Tony Stack still looking for the move, as there was a problem for Ian May. He's fallen down the order. Here comes Stuart Brereton on Gary Corcoran. Brereton looking for it down the inside. Corcoran defends in towards the first corner. Tony Stack looking to try and get even more positions here in this one. Finished 11th in heat number 1. He'd like a little bit more than that in this one, especially with 10th and 9th parked right in front of him on the racing circuit, and a bit wide there for Gary Corcoran. That'll invite Brereton down the inside in towards left hook, and Brereton trying to make the move on Gary Corcoran. That's offset him offline, and Tony Stack will try and make the move. Look at this, down towards Snake and in towards the S's. Tony Stack is going for it in every possible corner here tonight in Virginia International Raceway. The Kerryman is taking no prisoners. He's not taking no for an answer, and they're still side by side. Brereton and Stack, and will one go offline? No, they won't. They'll snake on through. Tony Stack will get the position. That is unbelievable racing from Tony and Stuart Brereton. Lawrence de Soswa makes the move on Evan Walsh. Walsh remains in 14th. Lawrence de Soswa stays in front for the time being. And that is an unbelievable battle. That is not over for now, because we've got the run down towards the roller coaster once again, and this is where this fight sort of kicked off. Lawrence de Soswa going for the move on John McDonald, who just about survived in through this sector the last time round. John just braking way later than everyone. Way too late on this occasion. Way too late on this occasion. And braking later than everyone was the wrong move, and Lawrence has made a mistake as well. That's John McDonald and Lawrence de Soswa, who are now both walking wounded in this fight. John down to 16th, Lawrence down to 18th. Or 17th, I should say. That was just John going through there, just in front of Byron DeValio. And very disappointing for John and Lawrence. I'm not really sure what happened to Lawrence. Sort of a freakish incident there that just sent his car around. John, we know what happened. He broke a little bit late toward, well, a little bit late is a bit of an understatement. He broke way too late. Let's have another look at this here on the Gantry TV replay. So John butchers the braking zone, unfortunately, and runs wide. Is the contact between Evan Walsh and Lawrence de Soswa. Lawrence, yeah, he was losing it in the corner himself. Obviously, Evan did eventually hit him because Lawrence spun into his way, but it seems like Lawrence was just trying to hold the slide out of the corner, kept his foot down, held it a bit too much, and spun round. And David Prunty, that's all elbows out, shouldering Colin Carrigan off the road, and Colin, not much you could do about that one. Took a trip across the grass, just about held it, and he's now second behind David Prunty, but Prunty's very wide in towards the horseshoe, and is Prunty going to rotate? He doesn't. That invites Colin Carrigan back into this one, and karma strikes, etc., etc. As here is Colin Carrigan looking for the move on David Prunty in towards the roller coaster, the man who we was just side by side with a couple of corners ago. David going to stay in front. No real attack from Colin, unfortunately. Still 3 minutes 20 seconds in this one, so plenty of time for those guys to make a move. It looks like we're going to end our evening, or end our Heat 2, I should say, in similar fashion to the way we ended Heat number 1. Dylan McClements attacking Sean McGoldrick. Late race form, very evident for Dylan McClements. And it wouldn't be the first time this season that the first two heats would end up with the exact same podium if they were to remain like this. Last week we had the same podium for the first two heats. We didn't in Road America, but we did in Daytona. No, we didn't in Daytona, I should say, because Doherty won heat number 1, Kelly won heat number 2, actually. Here's another replay. This is Philip Upton, who we are looking at, a man who has not had the best of form, maybe, in this Motorsport.ie Mustang America's Cup, and the fact we've put to a replay invites me to say that he's continued a poor run of form, very wide on the grass, and yeah, that's just a disappointing error for Philip, if anything. Got out of the way of everyone a lot better than Daytona, but disappointing for Philip. And he will be looking for a better heat in heat number 3. He's in the pit lane, the only man currently in the pit lane. All the other 18 are out on circuit. 3 minutes to go in this one. That makes me think 2 more laps, potentially. we will wait and see, as Dylan McClements had about 2 laps attack on Sean McGoldrick, so he's a little bit more than that this time round. He would like to get the move done this time round, however, as opposed to the first heat. Down towards the first corner we go. Dylan McClements very close this time around. I wonder would he look for the lunge down the inside. Pulls out a line, and he will break later than Sean McGoldrick. It's still just looking to sneak down the inside. There was almost a tiny little bit of a gap there, but it would have been a silly mistake for Dylan if he hadn't gone for it, because it would have definitely resulted in one of them off the road, that's for sure. But the number 3 in 3rd place, still hounding Sean McGoldrick for this one. Ronan Doherty well up the road in front, 3.4 seconds. This is Colin Carrigan you're looking at, who is looking to start a top 10 streak of his own. In 8th position now, once again, is Colin, and looking to defend from, looking to attack David Prunty, I should say. That's Prunty in the yellow and black, Carrigan in the more grey. Here is Ian May defending from Simran Thacker. Not much defending needed for Ian, as Evan Walsh has just got past Stuart Brereton. So Evan back into the top 10. He is up and ahead of Stuart Brereton. And Brereton, I have to say, has driven a great race all the same. It was a very good battle with Tony Stack, and he has driven fantastically here. Definitely deserved of a top 10 finish, but 11 still good points for Stuart, especially in his B Championship, and he is without a doubt a favourite for that B Series title now, with only a round and a heat after this one. Dylan McClements will have one more lap to attack Sean McGoldrick in oh-so similar fashion to earlier on tonight, where he tried to make the move stick on Sean McGoldrick, wasn't able to do so. As down towards turn number 1 they go. Dylan McClements, not close enough on this occasion. Or is he? Or is he? Or is he? Oh no! Hits the back of Sean McGoldrick. And that round goes Sean McGoldrick. That without a doubt will be investigated by the stewards. And Dylan, unfortunately, involved in an incident there. I wonder would it almost be better for Dylan to try lift off and give Sean that position back and save himself a 15-point penalty, because he'd rather lose 2 points by letting Sean back through than lose 15 that the stewards will probably give him. It's very similar to what happened the lap before. Dylan saw a gap opening, but was never really alongside, and that caused Sean McGoldrick to spin round on the grass, and I can't imagine Sean will be too happy with that one. Could be under pressure from Sean McClements now, potentially. He was only 0.8 of a second behind, so Dylan might have done his brother few favours. But yeah, just disappointing that for Dylan McClements. Oh, Jamal Gandor! Big crash for Jamal Gandor. Completely loses it in towards the S's and in towards the South Bend. And Jamal Gandor, who was in a world of his own for this entire heat, was having a very solid drive in 6th. Unfortunately, the Lebanese man is not going to pick up the points he deserves. As was there a problem here? Did he try to go past Kevin Joyce? Oh no, that's a really weird incident. And Kevin Joyce was very slow. Jamal was just eager to get past, started flashing his lights, and it's ended up costing him a big result here. I'm not sure what actually happened to Kevin Joyce, but certainly was slow in that one. As Ronan Doherty comes across the line, he had a trouble-free evening. Wins here in Virginia International Raceway for the second time. Dylan then in 2nd. Sean McGoldrick will get 3rd ahead of Sean McClements in 4th, and then Kevin Joyce will get 5th position. He was 6th for the whole heat, but Kevin with a very solid 5th place. David Prunty will come home in 6th. This is Evan Walsh. You can see we're going to attack Tony Stack, but won't be able to make the move on Tony, because there's simply not enough track to make the move. Stuart Brereton will come home in a solid 11th. We will hopefully hear from the top 3 in a couple of moments, folks. We'll especially have to ask Dylan and Sean their opinions on that incident. But Aaron Sososwa comes home in 13th. We saw him have a spin earlier. John McDonald 14th, Simon Tacker then 15th, and then it'll be Gary Corcoran, Byron DeBalio, Philip Upton, and Rich Murphy. So we will hear from your race winner now. We'll run you through the grid later on, folks, but let's hear from double race winner tonight, Ronan Doherty. Hello, Ronan. Can you hear me?
I can indeed, yes.
Handy enough, that one, it seemed, from our perspective anyways.
Yeah, I was sort of just trying to learn a bit about the tyres. This track actually really chews through the tyres, and it's easy to let that rear slide in a lot of the corners. So even though it looked boring, maybe in terms of a battle for the lead, watching it was quite interesting for me trying to figure out how to prepare my tyres for this final race.
Have you had a chance to think about the reverse grid race yet, and what the tactics for that one is? Because unfortunately for you, you're not able to just lead from the front.
Yeah, good points already. I'll just see how it plays out in front of me. Track's going to be quite hard to overtake on, and a few guys in front that don't really like losing positions. So I'll just play it as it comes to me.
And will you be looking to take? I know you said you'll play it as you come, but if you took the win in Heat 3, that's 90 points compared to nothing being scored by Oscar and Jordan. Surely you've thought about how big an advantage this gives you coming into the final race.
Well, it's good for me to catch up, really, because I missed the Montreal round. Now Oscar's missing this one, which means we'll both be on a drop of 0 points. But I don't know how close that's going to leave us in the championship. I haven't even really looked at the points, to be honest.
You're 101 behind before tonight.
Yeah, so I mean, maximum I can be within 11 points, and I'm sure Oscar will be back for the last round, and he's very, very consistent. So I don't know, it's a bit far-fetched yet, but nothing's impossible, sure.
Well, Ronan, thank you very much, and all going well, we hope to hear from you after heat number 3.
Cheers, lads.
Let's hear from the second place man, then Dylan McClemens, who we'll bring in now. Hello, Dylan, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Bit of an incident at the end of heat number 2. What did you make of it from your perspective with Sean?
I mean, I was shooting the nose a couple of laps there, a couple of times, and then I don't know. I think he closed the door too soon, but still don't know what happened. I haven't looked over it. We'll have to wait and see if there's any penalty points to be placed. But in my opinion, it wasn't my fault or wasn't his.
Good pace from you tonight. Will you be looking for potentially to go one better? You've got third, second. Will you be looking to go one better in the reverse grid race and potentially take a win?
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, I think I would have gone faster if I didn't have their air, but I was going to have their air if you're that close with in pace or someone. But we'll see how quickly we get up to speed in this next race and see if we can take the win.
And Ronan was mentioning that this track chews through the tyres. Have you had similar issues?
Yeah, I mean, I was struggling with, well, not struggling with the rear. I felt the rear going a couple of laps, but not really struggling with it. It's easy to maintain, but something you'll look out for in this 20-minute race.
Thank you very much, Dylan, for joining us, and all going well. We hope to hear from you later.
All right, see you.
No Sean McGoldrick in the interview room, but great to hear from Ronan and Dylan. And you can see in the weather, quite warm here. Certainly a nice day out. Wouldn't be complaining about it. 43 degrees track temperature. So this is chewing through the tyres a little bit. And that's something these guys have struggled with all season. If you watched our earlier races in the championship, you might remember Circuit of the Americas, where they really struggled with the warm tyres. So much so that it was a reenactment of Bambi on ice out of the circuit at all times from all 20-something of them. Extremely bad. Not as bad here tonight, but they all just have to manage the tyres. And Mid-Ohio also had a little bit of tyre wear problems, but that's a very different circuit to Virginia International Raceway. So very interesting to see how the reverse grid heat goes. Let us know what you're making of it so far in the stream chat. Remember to give us any driver of the day nominees. It would be great to hear them, and we would looking forward to seeing who can perform best here in heat number 3. In terms of the reverse grid. I believe it's going to be Kevin Joyce, who's no, just hasn't updated the timing screen. It will update in a couple of moments. But 8th place will start first, of course. 7th will start second, so on, so forth. We'll get a full confirmation in that once they set up the grid for the final heat. But this is all boding nicely to Laguna Seca. Next Tuesday night, you can find that here on Gantry TV at 9 o'clock, of course. And a big thanks to our sponsors, Motorsport.ie, for sponsoring the Mustang America's Cup. Motorsport.ie, Ireland's #1 motorsport news website. They're providing a fabulous trophy to the winners of all the feature races. And make sure you do check out motorsport.ie. And of course, if you have any Irish motorsport news, make sure you send it on to motorsport.ie as well. They'd absolutely would love to hear it. But always reporting a fabulous crew, Leo and team. And we thank them very much for their support here on RTA Virtual Motorsport. Next season in RTA Virtual Motorsport as well, we have the Formula V's returning, a staple of Irish motorsport, but also returning here tonight. No, not returning here tonight. They're returning next season, so in the next couple of weeks. We don't have any Formula V action coming up tonight for you, unfortunately, folks. We just have the Mustang America's Cup. But if you're interested in racing in the Formula V's, RTAVirtualMotorsport.com. So it's Colin Carrigan, actually, who starts on pole for this one. Jamal Gandor's spin assisted him a little bit and has actually put him on the front row of the grid. Kevin Joyce in third, David Prunty in fourth, Sean McClemens will start in fifth, Sean McGoldrick in sixth, Dylan McClemens will start seventh ahead of Ronan Doherty in eighth, Tony Stack starts ninth, Evan Walsh in 10th, Stuart Brereton in 11th, Ian May in 12th, Lawrence de Souza in 13th, John McDonald 14th, and it is Simran Tucker in 15th, Gary Corcoran starts in 16th, Philip Upson in 17th, Byron DeBalio in 18th, ahead of Rich Murphy, who starts in 19th. So Jamal Gandor, although having that spin, he starts on the pole. If you don't know Jamal Gandor, get to know. He's a man with a lot of sim racing experience. He raced in the 2014 GT Academy competition at Silverstone. Very similar to the one they made the movie about. A lot of movie references on the stream tonight. A lot of great motorsport movies. Didn't have the best of success in the Super Formula Light, as we mentioned, but way better here in the Motorsport.ie Mustang America's Cup, because he currently sits a healthy 11th in the championship, would be actually in 8th if he didn't pick up 15 penalty points. 207 points for Jamal in the championship. Man alongside him, Colin Carrigan, who starts on the pole position tonight, is 17th. So huge points on offer for Colin if he can have a good run at this one. Kevin Joyce then in the 30s, 9th in the standings on 214, just 10 behind Rory O'Shea, who's not here tonight, so he's already overtaken Rory O'Shea because he scored more than 10 points. If you're unfamiliar with the point system, it is 30 for the race win, 28, 26, etc., etc. And that's the same for all three heats. It's not different for any of them, even though this one is longer. It is identical. That's why Ronan Doherty has seized the opportunity so far to make this a right tussle for the championship. So as they're coming towards the final couple of corners then, out on circuit, it will be Carrigan and Gandor side by side into the first corner. It'd be interesting to see how Colin gets away here, because certainly in the Gantry TV era of RTA, he hasn't started on the pole. So it'll be very intriguing to see what he can do. It'll be interesting to see what Doherty can do from 7th on the grid. What a start he got in Mid-Ohio in heat number 3. He says it was all a bit of luck. It was definitely a bit of clean driving prowess mixed in amongst it. Be interesting to see what both the McClemenses can do as well. They're rounding in towards the final corner now. The pace car, safety car, will pull into the pit lane, and it's under Colin Carrigan's control. Jamal Gandor alongside him as well. He'll be looking for a keen launch down towards the first corners. It's actually Jamal controlling the pace, I should say. It's as we go racing. Here, Colin Carrigan, we're running what start he would get. He's been caught completely napping. Great start for Jamal Gandor. Great start for David Prunty. Brilliant start for Sean McClements. Up alongside Kevin Joyce, down towards the first corner. Keep an eye on Dylan and Sean McGoldrick as well behind. Sean McClements looking for the move on Kevin Joyce. One-time Heat 3 winner this season. That was in Road America, of course. As Byron DeBalio making a move as well. And Sean McGoldrick, that's Sean McGoldrick off the circuit and into the wall. Goes Sean McGoldrick. Sort of rebounds off it and comes back onto the circuit. That would a move that the NBA would be proud of. But Sean McGoldrick off down to 19th. Has to receive some form of rear damage for that one. And that is a very disappointing start to this race for Sean McGoldrick, who has been really, really good tonight. But it is Gandor, Prunty, McClements, Joyce, Doherty. Top 5. Here is Sean McGoldrick. This is the race start again. Down towards the first corner. You can see Sean there just in front of the yellow and black car. Ronan Doherty, well, actually I should say he's the Star Spangled Banner draped across his bonnet. Actually a bit of a nudge from Ronan Doherty. So, potentially trouble there in terms of a steward's report later. So that's going to be something to watch out for, because definitely some form of nudge from Ronan. Could have been net code as well, but did make a mistake. Ronan Doherty already up to 5th here behind Kevin Joyce. Is Sean McClements able to make the move on David Prunty? No, not quite. Sean, who has been on the podium at least once in RTA, both the previous 2 weeks. He was on it in Heat number 3 in Mid-Ohio, and he won then Heat number 3 in Road America. So Heat 3, definitely his forte. Is a big fan of the reverse grid. And he's tucked into the slipstream of Prunty, and there goes Carrigan. And that good evening has just slipped away from him, unfortunately. Let's have a look at what happened. Was it instant with Evan Walsh? You can see there in the green and white, or was it under his own accord? Bounces over the curb, okay, and just kind of goes on his own. Potentially again, that code, but that is a bit of an issue for Colin Carrigan, and unfortunately one that he will need to get revenge for another week, because he's 10 seconds off the field, and it's not looking like he's going to be able to recover. Very disappointing for him. Sean McClements, in the meantime, has got past Kevin Joyce, so Sean McClements is up to 2nd. And you can see Ronan Doherty looking to attack David Prunty as they head over the crest to the S's and in towards the south bend of turn number 10. Ronan Doherty, of course, winner of both heats tonight. Ronan, you can see in the Team DDO green version of the livery. Sean in the purple, Dylan in the yellow. All very similar liveries, all different colours. A little bit wide for Prunty. This is going to allow Ronan Doherty to potentially make the move down towards the roller coaster section. Ronan just needs to avoid any incidents here. He's got to be squeaky clean, and even if he doesn't necessarily win this race, can pick up the maximum amount of points. But he's got to go for it here on David Prunty. Prunty will defend. It's going to be the outside line for Ronan Doherty. He will fancy himself in the brakes. Brakes a lot later than David Prunty. Prunty still alongside, and Ronan Doherty not able to make the move for the time being, but he will get it back on the inside of the corner, and Ronan Doherty shows his class, shows his champion abilities, and makes the move stick on David Prunty. A brilliant move there for him. And there is Dylan McClements, who has got through on David Prunty. Dylan just in front now of Prunty, but will Prunty try hold it around the outside? Let's have a look in towards the first corner. Won't be able to. That is a move for Dylan McClements. Evan Walsh fastest lap of the race as well, so keep an eye on Evan Walsh. Tony Stack also ahead of Ian May. Sean McClements race lead, gets past Jamal Gandor down the inside. Gandor losing the lead. Sean McClements up into it, so he has 2 cars between himself and Ronan Doherty. Let's have a look at how it went down. Jamal, a little bit of an error off the exit of the corner. Nothing amazing towards the NASCAR bend. Sean McClements looking for well, that was a fairly simple one for Sean McClements in the end. Jamal just running wide in towards the left hook, and Sean dealt the sucker punch, and he is up and ahead into the race lead. Ronan Doherty, and that's wide for Kevin Joyce. That's Kevin Joyce round. That is Ronan Doherty, who's up into 3rd, but Kevin Joyce is parked on the apex, and he just has to wait to rejoin. Let's have a look at the replay here and see what happened. As down or in towards the left-hander, turn number 10. I wonder, has Ronan Doherty got himself into a bit of trouble, or did Kevin Joyce go on his own? And you can see, ooh, Ronan did turn him round, and I wouldn't be so certain that Ronan isn't it party in that one, but I'll leave that one down to the stewards and maybe you folks in the stream chat below. Would love to hear your thoughts on that one, certainly. As Ronan's in the pits. Ronan Doherty in the pit lane, so either he has damage or he has to serve a penalty, and it's all going wrong for the man on form tonight. Ronan Doherty is down to out of the top 10, and what an opportunity it was for Ronan Doherty. He's out of the pit exit, maybe had to serve some sort of penalty for that incident. Remember, of course, you pick up exits anytime you run wide and anytime you two make contact. You have to serve a drive-through once you accumulate a certain amount of them, and I think that's what Ronan had to do, serve that drive-through penalty. So that has thrown a real spanner in the works here in this one. Ronan still has 14 minutes to recover. He's not going to win the race. Might not even get a... Well, I would almost say without certain he won't get a podium. So we have to see where he can recover to. We'll need the help of a few incidents to get him back up the order. He is currently in 16th place, 0.8 of a second behind Colin Carrigan. Luckily enough for him, the field spread is not too wide for a Heat 3 here in RTA. Compared to the same point we've been at in the earlier two races, it was a lot wider, but that is also because we don't have Ronan running away in front. Sean McClements leads, Jamal Gandor in second, Dylan McClements now in third, Tony Stack fourth, Evan Walsh in fifth, Ian May in sixth, Lawrence de Soswa in seventh, and Simran Thacker in eighth, and it's John McDonald in ninth and Gary Corcoran in 10th. Good race this from Simran, actually. In 8th is Ian May in 6th as well. He's had a good race. As Ronan, I'm sure we're going to see him put in some fastest laps of the race in a couple of moments, because he's going to be a man on a mission now, and will be trying to recover as much points as he can. There's Kevin Joyce, who was also spun around, getting past Byron DeBalio, and the fact Kevin is in front of Ronan means those two are going to have to go fighting again. I'm not sure if Kevin is going to be very friendly to Ronan by the time he gets back up to him, but that's all for in due course. And Evan Walsh is looking to attack Tony Stack here. Tony Stack up to front. What a shuffle up this Heat 3 has really been thoroughly entertaining. As here is Dylan McClements getting past Jamal Gandor, I believe, or at least that's what it looks like. In towards the first corner, here is Dylan McClements looking for the move down the inside. Is Dylan going to be able to get it done on the braking? Yeah, he is. That's a very, very clinical move by Dylan McClements. Much better than his attempt on Sean McGoldrick earlier. So Dylan is up and ahead. So it's McClements 1-2 here. As you can see, that is Ian May and Evan Walsh battling. Walsh will stay in front for the time being. May will have to stay behind. Lawrence de Soswa in 7th as well, who's recovered nicely from his Heat 2 woes. We saw Lawrence at the spin through that very corner that he's just come through in Heat number 2, and that it was demoted him down the order, but he's elevated back up in this one, and he's up to 7th place with potential more places coming in the meantime, because he has Ian May and Evan Walsh battling in front, and Ian May looking for the move in towards almost every corner, just not quite able to find it. We'll have to dig a little bit deeper, get past Evan Walsh like that on the inside. Evan Walsh, the man who's become known for his very quick race starts in previous weeks. And this week, of course, in Heat number 1. And there is Evan Walsh looking for the move on Tony Stack. Won't get past the Kerryman that easy. Tony Stack, another man who is well used to fighting in this one. Tony's always around the mid-pack, always around 10th position, which means without fail every week he is up the front. As Lawrence de Soswa runs wide, bit of an error there for him. He's still in the fight. What I was going to say about Tony Stack is he's always involved in a fight with the other guys in the midfield, so he knows how to go all elbows out here in an RTA race. But Evan Walsh has a lot of experience as a racer, so he knows how to create overtakes from nothing. He also knows how to hit cars around, seemingly. Very disappointing there for Tony Stack, who recovers it nicely, in all honesty. Slides it through the corner, something Drift Masters would be proud of. He's only lost a couple of tenths of a second. Has lost 3 positions because of it, though, but could have been much worse for Tony Stack. As there, a bit of a nudge as well. Walsh going on into the grass, down towards the roller coaster corner. Simran Thacker, is he able to make the move on Tony Stack? No, not quite. So Stack still in 6th, even with that incident with Evan Walsh. I said Evan could go for a move anywhere. Admittedly, he got the move done in slightly immoral fashion, but got the move done nonetheless, and he's now into the pit lane to serve a penalty. So the racing experience not coming to froth for Evan Walsh, and he's the second man to serve a drive-through tonight, which is not something we genuinely see a lot. So this is really freakish. Lawrence de Salzwa looking for the move on Simran Thacker, and that is Lawrence up to 6th now after his mistake. The incident between Tony Stack and Evan Walsh was able to benefit him. As there goes Kevin Joyce off once again. Disappointing for Joyce, and look who the man behind him was. Coincidentally enough, it was Ronan Doherty who gets let through. Kevin Joyce is down to 12th now. And that is Joyce down out of the top 10. Doherty promoted into it ahead of Rich Murphy. Ronan now has 1.4 seconds to Philip Upson. This is the battle between David Prunty and Byron DeBallio, and then Gary Corcoran behind in 15th position. You can see Byron there in 12th, a man who we've not seen an awful lot tonight, but he's found his pace when he needed to, and that's in heat number 3, where the opportunities arise. And here is David Prunty, just looking to get past Byron. Is David going to be able to create an avenue here in towards the Oak Tree corner, which is named after the big famous oak tree that was once there, but for obvious reasons that had to be cut down. It was right in the apex of the corner. Prunty trying to fling it round the outside, and this would be some move if he could pull it off. Runs a little bit over the curb. Not sure if he would have picked up some form of slowdown for that one, but Prunty is alongside, and look at Gary Corcoran looking to invite himself to the party. Corcoran wants a little bit of this battle, and he wants to try and potentially get past both of them. Almost 3 wide down towards the roller coaster section. David Prunty down the inside. Byron DeBallio looking to continue on, and they both go off the circuit. Through goes Gary Corcoran, and Corcoran just backed off, bided his time nicely, waited for the collision to happen, and as DeBallio and Prunty drove themselves off the track, sneaks through goes Corcoran and Carrigan. Sean McGoldrick looking to get past as well as they go weaving down the straight, as DeBallio has to pull into the pit lane. So Byron has to pull into the pits there, potentially for damage, potentially for an incident. We'll get full confirmation of that one, but both just drove off the track. I wonder will the stewards have a look at that. As we can see, Sean McGoldrick just staying in front of David Prunty, so no move being able to make be made there. Here's John McDonald looking to attack Simran Thacker, and John looking for 7th place in this one. Would be a strong result for John, who has been decent in recent weeks. John got 10th in Heat 3 at Road America, and he's been up there for the majority of this Motorsport.ie Mustang America's Cup when he's racing, of course. Lawrence de Salzwa is just looking to attack Tony Stack here, and great evening Tony is at. He's had some brilliant battles as well. I wonder will he be your contender for driver of the day once this heat is concluded. Make sure to let us know in the stream chat, of course, folks. As just behind these two is that battle between Thacker and McDonald, of course. Down towards the first corner, Sean McClemens running away the front in this one. 2.4 seconds between himself and Dylan. Jamal Gandor in 3rd. I think I actually mentioned his podium statistics tonight, which would be a very funny form of coincidence if he was able to get his first podium since then. in this very race. But when Jamal was on the front row, we always knew he had a chance because he's been quite impressive pace-wise tonight. Rich Murphy looking to attack Kevin Joyce here. This is in the battle for 11th. Joyce running the famous Falcon livery in front as runs wide, and Rich Murphy follows him to the scene of the accident. And Rich looking to dig himself out of that one, just backs out of it in the number 14, and he'll let Kevin continue on. Hopefully for these two, they avoided damage because Kevin Joyce has been in the wars tonight. Or in Heat 3, certainly. He was fabulous in 1 and 2. Here's Lawrence de Soswa. Big dive down the inside of Tony Stack. Stack just defends. De Soswa not able to make the move. So we cut to the replay. This is Evan Walsh. No problem for the Virtual Race Academy driver. In towards, this is, I think this is the NASCAR bend of turn number 3. In towards 4. Oh, that's a really weird error for Evan Walsh. A bit of a rookie mistake that he will not look to make again, but Evan, in all honesty, has not had his finest of evenings, and he'll be looking to recover in Laguna Seca in the season finale. As here is Sean McGoldrick, a man who's also been in the wars tonight. It's really been a race of attrition, this one. Definitely being a race where you just got to try and survive for as long as possible. Sean McGoldrick, one of them, who's just looking to recover what he can here. Ronan's already clawing in John McDonald as well, so at least keep an eye on him in the closing laps. The fastest lap in this one currently belongs to Sean McGoldrick, actually, not even Ronan Doherty, so it belongs to Sean, which is quite interesting, I think, because I think if Sean had been at the front in this one, he might have been able to provide a tread. And just as we speak of the name, Sean McGoldrick is trying it around the outside of Colin Carrigan, but to no success. Carrigan defends. Carrigan, remembers, had good pace tonight as well. He's just another man who's ended up the back of the grid through a bit of misfortune, and Sean McGoldrick goes for the move, catches it well. It was a poor overtaking attempt, but was a lovely bit of driving skill to save his Mustang GT3. It remained in 14th for now, but the move might be on eventually, and we said Sean McClemens was running away at the front of this one. It's anything but. Dylan has clawed in a second here. Ronan Doherty does get past John McDonald now for 8th position, so he'll be looking to try and tackle Simran Tacker. And Lawrence de Soswa 10th of a second behind Tony Stack as well in the battle for 5th. And I think Lawrence might be looking for a move fairly soon on Tony Stack. And here he is, down the back straight towards the roller coaster corner. Number 17 of Lawrence de Soswa has the outside line on Tony Stack. Tony has been really good in this corner, but he's been turned round. And Tony Stack is another man who will end up down the back of the field due to some very poor misfortune. Lawrence de Soswa is spinning him round. We might have to have another look at that one and see what happened on the apex of the corner. But Tony Stack has been taken out of a great position. Let's have a look then. Lawrence went for down the outside. Well, the inside for the first part of the corner, but the outside for the second. And was Tony just going for a move? Yeah, he kind of clips the front of Lawrence's car and then gets spun round. It's a peculiar one. It's nothing that we haven't seen in the past in Heat 3s at Virginia International Raceway when we're running cars like this, GT3s, GT4s. But I'm sure Tony will report that one to the stewards. But the order's changed quite a little bit. It is McClemens, Sean, followed by Dylan. Then it is Jamal, Ian, and Lawrence. Gary Corcoran loses a spot to Sean McGoldrick there. So McGoldrick's up to 12th out of pretty much nowhere. I could have sworn he was 14th a few laps ago, and there's Gary Corcoran gone round. Colin Carrigan hitting the back of him. It has been a very bump-heavy race here at Virginia International Raceway. It has been definitely a lot of contact, as that is another example of it. The stewards will have a busy evening. As incidents-wise, we haven't had too much reported just yet, but I'm sure they'll come after the race. Up the front of this one, though, gap now under a second for the first time in a long time between the two McClemens brothers. Jamal Gamdor just needs to drive it home to the end, but we saw he had an incident in the final lap of the last heat, so needs to just be very careful. One more lap of racing. Sean McClemens versus Dylan McClemens. Dylan is really hounding Sean down, and these two will be driving very close to each other in real life, in the same house, of course, and they'll be very close to each other on the circuit as well. Battle for 5th this is. I think Lawrence might have some damage. Racing on between Simran and Ronan Doherty. Ronan will fancy himself to get past both of these, and that'll be a decent recovery drive in towards fifth. Ronan looking for it down the inside here in the number 29, but he has Lawrence de Soswa boxing him in. He'll still try go for the move on Simran Tacker, and Ronan Doherty pounds the brake, stops the car, rotates it in for the corner. He'll look to try and get past Lawrence de Soswa as well in towards the NASCAR bend, because he will be just pushing until the checkered flag, hoping for any incidents in front, and Lawrence runs wide in towards the left hook, and Ronan will dive down the inside into the left-hander and around the outside for the right-hander, but Lawrence runs wide and he's pushed him off the circuit, and Lawrence makes the mistake that shoves Doherty off, and Ronan Doherty will fall off the circuit once again, but up the front it's only 0.3 of a second separating Sean and Dylan McClements. It's a crucial run out of the corner. Will Sean be able to survive it? Dylan will be doing everything to try and get past his older brother down towards the final overtaking zone here on this circuit, the roller coaster, where Dylan has been involved in many of a battle. But I don't think it's going to be enough. Sean just needs to nail his braking to get in front of Dylan, or to stay in front of Dylan McClements, I should say. And Sean is through the corner nicely. He's got one more real section to go in towards the hog pen for a second win in 3 weeks. It's been a fabulous day for brothers. The McClements are going to top that off again. But which one will it be? Because Dylan's got to run to the line. He's less than 1/10 of a second behind. But it will be Sean that comes out on top. Dylan McClements second, 0.5 of a second quicker on the last lap was Dylan McClements. 3 podiums in 3 weeks in Heat 3 for Sean McClements, but crucially, it's a second win, and Sean will take another fabulous result. Jamal Gandor in third. Ian May will come home in fourth. It'll be Simran Tacker who comes home in fifth. Ronan in sixth, gets ahead of Lawrence de Soswa in the end. Tony Stack will come home in 8th. John McDonald will come home in 9th. Kevin Joyce in 10th. Philip Upson in 11th. Sean McGoldrick in 12th. Colin Carrigan in 13th. And it'll be Gary Corcoran in 14th. David Prunty will come home in 15th. Rich Murphy will then be in 16th. Oh, he's actually been handed down with the B-Series Championship leader, Stuart Brereton, who's not had a Heat 3 to remember, but he's going to drive past Rich here. So just getting in my ear here, that's actually a sportsman move by Rich. Made contact, so he's let Stuart through. So fair play to Rich Murphy. That's a job well done. And he let Stuart through, so Stuart will drive round and will take 16th position in this one. No finish for Evan Walsh, no finish for Byron Zabelio, unfortunately. But it is Doherty who wins the first 2 heats, McClements who wins heats 3, identical to Road America, but in very different fashion. And Dylan in second, Jamal Gandor third, Ian May in fourth, Simran Tacker in fifth, Ronan Doherty in sixth, Lawrence de Soswa takes 7th, Tony Stack in 8th, John McDonald 9th, Kevin Joyce in 10th, Philip Upson in 11th, Sean McGoldrick in 12th, Colin Carrigan in 13th, Gary Corcoran 14th, David Prunty in 15th, Stuart Brereton 16th, Rich Murphy 17th, and it's Evan Walsh who takes 18th spot. Let us know your driver of the day, folks, in the stream comments below, and we will get to those later. But let's hear from your race winner, Sean McClements. Hello, Sean. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Well, it's another win for you. Did you expect that one coming into tonight?
If we're going to be brutally honest, no. Because the pace wasn't all there. I was around 2-ish tenths off maybe Sean McGoldrick and Dalton, and then maybe a further 4 or 5 tenths off running a lap. So I knew there was time in it, and I knew where the time was. But again, same as last week, I didn't want to push my luck during the races and stuff. I seen after I got a pretty decent start. Got I think it was 2 positions, maybe 3 positions at the first corner. And funny enough, once I got past, once I got any second, funny enough, I actually coached Jamal last night, so I sort of knew roughly where his sort of weaker points were, and I could tell sort of where he was picking the time up, so I just sort of planned my overtake based off that. But then lucky enough, Jamal went off the road anyway. So once I seen that, I knew to put the head down, and coming sort of midway towards the race, I just wanted to sort of save the tyres. I seen Dylan was sort of second, and if in my head, if it was McClement's 1-2, despite the order, I was happy enough. So don't want to push too hard.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you brought that up, because it's safe to say the driver behind you is not exactly in a sim rig that's half the world away. He is your brother. Was it nice to maybe get one over him, even though I know you're playing it down a little bit?
Oh yeah, no, that definitely was nice to to beat him now. The last lap there, I just seen him closing in, and well, I just thought it'd be nice to see a wee picture like coming over across the line. So I said to Dalton, I was like, "Oh look, we'll slow down. We'll get a sort of photo finish nearly for the finish line, and sure, it'll make a good picture for a great achievement."
And then in terms of the championship, you clawed back in on the lead little by little tonight. But what's the real aim going to Laguna Seca? Is it anything points wise, or is it just to pick up some good results?
Just the same as the past couple of weeks. To be brutally honest, I'll do the best I can. I'll not go for anything risky that'll maybe put me in a bit of danger, lose me some points. I'll just sort of pick the points up here and there. I know the first two races I picked fourth and fourth, which is quite decent points wise. Obviously Jordan wasn't here tonight, so I know I've definitely gained a bit of points on Jordan. I think top three's maybe a wee bit out of reach, but I'll see what I can do coming into Laguna Seca. It's a track I've never really... Well, I used to... The only time I've really driven it was in RTA and the Skip Barbers and the MX-5, so it'll be fun to get back.
Well, Sean, thank you very much for joining us. Enjoy your champagne supernova on the rostrum, and nice to round off what's been... I've been doing them the whole interview. I hope you've caught that on.
I have.
Yeah. Good day for Sean McClements, and hopefully a good day for you in Laguna Seca as well. Thank you very much for joining us.
Definitely, maybe.
Well, let's hear from another McClements now and bring in the second place man, Dylan. Hi Dylan, we spoke to you earlier. It's a second place, but it is 1/10 behind Sean. Sean was playing it down a little bit that he was bringing the car home, but you were certainly very quick in the last couple of laps. Where did you find the pace from?
I don't even know. You see, I definitely didn't expect that amount of pace at the end. It was pushing a lot, you know. I don't know where I found the pace, but it was definitely up there, you know. One of the top classes during that time.
And then it's 3 podiums from 3 for you tonight. Will you be looking to bring this form into Laguna Seca?
Hopefully, the last time I did Laguna Seca, I got 2 wins and like a 5th or something. So it would obviously help me a lot if the championships any close between Oscar. But would I be practicing Laguna Seca a lot, because I haven't read it in a while and I wasn't that quick as I was tonight whenever I did it. So, well, good amount of practice put in for it.
And then in Heat 3, compared to Heat number 1 and 2, what was the biggest challenge for yourself? Was it just getting through the cars, or was it managing the longer race?
I mean, the cars were a big deal, you know, but I got quite lucky and I didn't have to make any big moves. It's only just a dive bomb and that was it. And I worked my way up and obviously got quite lucky not getting in that incident with Ronan and Kevin Joyce, I believe. So yeah, staying out the way of cars and you're just picking through there now just helps a lot in that last race.
Dylan, congratulations. Thank you very much for joining us, and we all wish you the very best of luck next week in Laguna Seca in that championship fight with Oscar.
Alright, cheers. See ya.
And now let's bring in the 3rd place man, Jamal Gandor. Jamal, hello, can you hear me?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. Were you expecting 3rd place tonight when you hopped in the lobby?
And not at all, to be frank, but I have to give it to my mentor. Yesterday, Sean McClements has done a great job on my traces. He looked at my traces. He find so many bad habits. I try to eliminate them. So everything that you saw today is because of Sean.
You've been on a great run of form so far this season. Is it safe to say that you liked this car maybe compared to the Super Formula Lights we were in last season?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm much better in the tin tops cars than the single seaters. So I'm gonna be back to my usual place at the back when the season of these comes, the next one.
Then next week, Laguna Seca. What's your thoughts on the famous track?
I like it, to be frank. I don't know how the pace will go, but we will look into it, and who knows, maybe another tutoring session.
Has Sean started charging you yet for them?
No, not yet.
Well, that's good.
But I'll gladly pay.
In terms of the championship, then I know there's only one round to go, but is there any overall goal for you, or are you just going in and taking it as it comes?
Yeah, I'm trying to be in the top 10 by the end of the season. Right now, I think I'm battling with Kevin Joyce. So this third place has got me good points. And hopefully I can get better and better in better results in the final round.
Jamal, thank you very much for joining us.
I would like to thank you guys for all the live streams that you've been doing. It's fantastic.
We have to thank you for your live streams as well. They're very good entertainment for all the viewers at home, and thank you very much for those. And congratulations on the podium, all going well, more mentoring, and we'll get to hear from you again in Laguna Seca.
Hopefully. See ya.
So great to hear from our podium once again here on Gantry TV. Last call for Driver of the Day shouts. I think there's a good few nominees tonight. Obviously, we like to go for a little bit of an underdog. So again, there's a lot of shouts, which makes it quite difficult. Jamal Gandor picking up that podium, of course, and having some fabulous results. Bar that one mistake at the end of the heat. Ian May as well, another decent shout. Simran Thacker as well. Kevin Joyce was my go-to pick until that last heat where he was in a little bit of incident trouble. Colin Carrigan was running well, as was Stuart Brereton. There's a lot of great shouts, but I think for a podium finish, we've got to give it to Jamal Gandor as your driver of the day tonight, because he was absolutely solid from start to finish. Usually he's down in the order fighting, but he was just ahead of those tonight that he's usually fighting with. So I'm going to give it to Jamal Gandor. I'm going to put it simply as that, and what a great evening it was here on Gantry TV. And there's also one big thank you who we have to give. You might have noticed at the start of the stream I didn't give Ronan Hederman his big introduction. That's because he's not here tonight. It's been John behind the cameras doing a fabulous job indeed. You didn't even notice the difference, I know that for a fact. And we thank John very much for joining the Gantry TV crew. We had Kieran join us, and now we have John join us. Gantry TV is just getting better than ever. So John, a big thank you for all your work behind on the cameras. A big thanks to our sponsors, Motorsport.ie as well, for sponsoring this Mustang America's Cup, as well as all of you at home for tuning in. The season finale next Tuesday night at 9 o'clock. You know where to find it in Laguna Seca. It's going to be a very, very good race. My name's been Evan Dalton. A big thank you. Stay safe, stay well. We shall see you next time. It's gone before.